Oops, thank you. I want to thank everyone who is joining us in the evening. If you want to make a public comment on the items listed under closed session agenda, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each item. Mrs. Elizondo?
Public hearing for visitors who wish to address the board on closed session items. 15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on closed session items. Speakers seeking to comment on other items are requested to make those comments during the public comment portion of the meeting at 6:30 p.m. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing none, hearing none, I close this public hearing and adjourn to closed session to discuss items 1A through 1D. The board will reconvene at the conclusion of the closed session. Good evening, everybody. It is 7:49 p.m. and I call this regular board meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. I want to welcome the media and everyone joining us here in person and through Zoom. If you want to make a public comment, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each public comment period during the meeting. Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, staff, and members of the public, I'd like to remind everyone of our vision and our mission, as we do at every board meeting. Our vision states that Madera Unified will set the standard for hard work, creativity, and resiliency with a fearless drive to continuously improve. We've been doing that all day yesterday, as a matter of fact. And our mission states that we are committed to creating and sustaining a culture, enabling Madera Unified students to experience an unparalleled educational journey that is intellectually, socially, and personally transformative. And we certainly did a whole lot of that this last weekend. That is the nature of our work this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. At this time, I ask everyone joining, roll call and pledge. I'm sorry. It kind of skipped on me here. Roll call and pledge. Superintendent Lyle. 2, 3. Yeah, yes, please, roll call and pledge allegiance. So we ask for Trustee Cortez, can we have a pledge of allegiance?
Yes, everybody, please stand. Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I ask everyone joining the meeting to please silence all electronic devices and that are not linked to this meeting. Mrs. Solno, please call roll.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Sosa Ramirez?
Here.
Trustee Zabalza?
Here.
Trustee Ahmad?
Here.
Trustee Cortez?
Here.
Trustee Dybert?
Here.
Trustee Fleek?
Here.
Trustee Seibert?
Here.
Clerk Mendoza?
Here.
And President Salazar?
Here. Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Thank you. Thank you, trustees. Tonight's scheduled invocation will be provided by Pastor Lance Leach Valley West Christian Center of Madera. Pastor Leach, would you do us the honor, please?
One more.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Right
go.
on. Greetings to the staff and trustees, President Salazar, Superintendent Lau. That was a long time in closed session. I don't know if there's any requests. No? Yeah, I am. And you do a wonderful job. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for our community. We thank you for the rain. Again, we know that we've had a lot this start of this year, but we love it. Thank you for leadership, for these thousands of jobs, for these adults that are overseen here, and for the many thousands of young people who are the precious commodity of our community. And God, we ask that the wisdom that is necessary would continue to be given to our leadership here in this building and the buildings that are also a part of Madera Unified School District. We pray, Father God, for not only wisdom, but the boldness to do what you're asking us to do and to continue to stand for the things that are important, and to maybe spend more time if necessary before any giving in on any of the priorities that are set before these gentlemen and gentlewomen. I pray for the finances for this community, that you would continue to open up the storehouses for our young people, that you would provide for the best education, the best educators, the best support staff, the best counselors, and everything that's needed in our community, because we deserve it. And we ask, Lord God, that you would bless us with this. We ask all these things and much more that you know we need. We just say, Lord God, would you do it for us, and we'll receive it and take care of it. In your name we ask all of this. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Leach. Number 4, item, closed session reportable actions. Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, we do have one reportable action this evening. In closed session, the board took action to approve resolution number 29-2022/23 and issue notices of non-reelection release to probationary and/or temporary certificated employees pursuant to Education Code 44929.21 and 44954, effective at the end of the 22-23 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notices. The roll call vote was as follows: 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Item number 4, adoption of the agenda. Mrs. Elizondo?
Action to add or delete items from any portion of the agenda or to discuss any consent agenda items must be taken prior to adoption of the agenda.
Superintendent Lyle, does staff have items to add or remove from the agenda?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, staff respectfully request that item number 11A2 be removed from the agenda. We'll bring this item at a future meeting. And staff would also like to make a typographical correction on item number 13B1. And that's requesting that the word classified be corrected in the title of resolution number 26-2022/23 on the printed agendas only.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Trustees, do you have items to add or delete from the agenda? Trustee Guybert, do you have anything to add or delete from the agenda?
No, I don't, President Salazar.
Trustee Ahmad?
No.
Trustee Cortez?
No.
Trustee Fleet?
No.
Trustee Seibert?
No.
Clerk Mendoza?
No.
And myself, President Salazar, no. Trustees, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda with the modifications noted? Please state your name when you make a motion and your second motion.
Trustee Dybert, move to approve the adoption of the agenda with the modifications noted.
Thank you. Do I have a second, trustees?
Trustee Ahmad, second.
Thank you. It has been moved by trustee Dybert and second by trustee Ahmad to adopt the agenda with the modifications noted. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board for record.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez?
Yes.
Trustee Zavalza?
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad?
Yes.
Trustee Cortez?
Yes.
Trustee Dybert?
Yes.
Trustee Fleek?
Yes.
Trustee Seibert?
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza?
Yes.
And President Salazar?
Yes.
President Salazar counted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent, and 2 of the 9 votes were preferential.
Thank you, Mrs. Elizondo. Item number 6, Student Board Representative Report. So we have Swat Taha at Madera High School and Melanie Miranda of Torres High School. I invite Swat Taha to present the Madera High School Student Board Representative Report.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Superintendent Lyle, and members of the public. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I will be presenting the Coyote column, which will be a brief summary of all the activities and events we've had from the end of January up until now. Next slide, please. In the beginning of February, more than 170 Madera Unified Black Student Union members received the opportunity to attend the Our Story musical at the Soroyan Theater in Fresno. The students got a one-of-a-kind chance to learn about Black history with a modern take. Next slide, please. Continuing on with Black History Month, we recognize various historical figures that influenced Black history on our hallway walls, and our BSU held various lunchtime activities for students to take part in during BSU's Renaissance Week. Some of the activities included an open mic, art class, and a dunking contest, which was overall a very fun experience for students to take part in. Next slide, please. In the beginning of the month, the Madera High School wrestling team competed in the CMAC League Championships with Bullard and had a great win, overall winning 61-18. Also, our boys basketball competed in the playoffs and won their first home playoff game in over 15 years, and the first home playoff win in Coach David Lozano's career as a Madera High School varsity basketball coach. Our cheer team recently competed in USA Spirit Nationals, in which they placed 12th out of the 29 teams competing. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to our baseball and softball teams who started their seasons off undefeated at 3-0. Next slide, please. This month, we had our DreamWorks themed winter rally in which we focused on recognizing various groups at our school that typically go unrecognized and have some fun overall. We recognize our counselors and cafeteria staff for their hard work and important contribution to our school, and we recognize our color guard who have been dedicated and excelled this past season. Choir also gave us a preview of their Valentine's Day concert, and we spent the rest of the rally playing fun games with our students and staff. Next slide, please. This Valentine's Day, we had our 7th annual Heart Attack at Madera High School. A heart was handmade for each member of our campus and put into each building to find. Staff and students get the chance to walk around with their friends and colleagues and search for the heart with their name on it. Next slide, please. This year, Link Crew made Valentine's Day even more special for freshmen and prepared candy for them. The Link Crew leaders went into each of their math classes and passed out Valentine's Day goodies to each freshman. Next slide, please. The members of the Madera High School Winter Percussion and Winter Guard competed at the South Valley Winter Arts Association competition held at Lemoore High School and came out in first place. Also, our Madera High School Theater Troupe had a successful trip to the Linnea Festival hosted by Folsom College in Folsom, in which 65 high schools attended the event and even competed alongside Madera High School. They also attended workshops to increase their scope of knowledge concerning theater and earned bronze for the monologue they performed and both one-act plays performed. They have now opened their production of the musical Little Women and will be performing until March 4th. Next slide, please. Our Madera High School FCCLA had a successful spring region meeting with all our competitors placing and qualifying for state. They also celebrated National FCCLA Week by spreading the word on social media, kicking off their Pretzel Rods fundraiser, delivering treats to staff, and having an FCCLA luncheon for all members to enjoy. FBLA also recently competed in their Central Section Leadership Conference at Matilda Torres High School, in which 15 students competed and placed in the top 10 and 5. Students Satwinder Palian and Dulce Ruiz both placed first in business law and international business. And for the first time in Madera High School FBLA history, they also placed in the top 5 sweepstakes award. Next slide, please. The Madera High School Decathlon team competed with other schools from Madera in the first annual competition. Two bronze medals for the subjects of economics. This month, in the public safety pathway, multiple branches of the of the military have been invited to come work with our PSA students to give them a feel for what they would be expecting if they continue with this pathway outside of high school. We have already had multiple students speak with recruiters and are on track to being enlisted in the military. Next slide, please. Oh, next slide, please. Now I'd like to ask if everyone could please take a moment to look at our upcoming events. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Taha. Now I invite Melanie Miranda to present Torres High School Student Board Representative Report.
Good evening, Madera Unified School District Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. I'm Melanie Miranda here with the Toro Report. Next slide, please. We kicked off the month of February taking a trip to outer space with our Toros Are Out of This World Winter Sports Spirit Week and Rally. We celebrated the success of each of our winter sports teams with dress-up days, lunchtime activities, and our annual sports winter rally. That Saturday, we hosted our winter formal where students had the opportunity to dance, play games, and even contribute to our giant tarp named Wall. Over 300 students attended, making this our largest dance in school history. Next slide, please. On Friday, February 10th, Torres HOSA hosted our first annual blood drive. Students, staff, and community members came out in full force to donate blood and support our community. We love having the opportunity to give to those in need. Next slide, please. On Saturday, February 11th, Torres FCCLA hosted the Central Section Spring Leadership Meeting and regional competitions. 9 schools visited our campus with approximately 90 students competing in 20 different events. Sophomore Elena Navarro competed in leadership, where she placed first. She will go on to compete at nationals this summer in Denver, Colorado. Additionally, 2 Toro students were elected to serve as FCCLA region officers. Elena Navarro will serve as a Region 8 president, and Ruby Marentes Cabrera will serve as region reporter. Next slide, please. Tony the Toro, our THS mascot, is a beloved member of our Taurus community, and for his birthday, we hosted our second annual Tony Wishes campaign. Tony's Wishes is an event where students have the opportunity to wish for anything that they want, big or small, for themselves or for other members of others and ASB their best to grant them. This year, we were able to grant 25 different big wishes and host those of smaller wishes throughout the week. We gifted a family with a gift card to help with groceries and even helped a student purchase a birthday gift for her mom. We closed out the week in style, celebrating Tony's 16th birthday with a dessert table performances and a piñata. Next slide, please. On Saturday, February 18th, Torres FBLA hosted the Central Section FBLA Conference. 450 students from around the valley came together to compete in 50 business-related events. 14 Torres students placed during the event. Elijah Zong, Magali Mendoza Cruz, and Rodrigo Rincon all qualified for state and will go to compete at the FBLA State Conference in April. Next slide, please. On February 16th, we hosted our first ever Club Senate meeting, bringing together student representatives for each of our campus clubs and programs. Club Senate is an opportunity for clubs leaders to come together to discuss ways that we can improve our campus culture and climate, as well as ways that we can support each other. The following week, we hosted our second semester Club Rush to give our student body a fresh opportunity to check out all of our great ways that we can help get involved on campus. With over 26 clubs on campus, there's something for everyone at Torres. Next slide, please. Just last week, we honored our 4.0 honor roll recipients with our annual 4.0 awards night. We had over 170 students attend to receive their 4.0 award and academic letter. To make the night even more special, we invited students to select staff members that had an impact on their educational journey to present them with their award. We had an amazing turnout and can't wait for our next opportunity to celebrate academic success. Next slide, please. In early December, Torres Theater Company attended the CSU Fresno Theater Open House, where they had the opportunity to audition for scholarships. We had 3 Torres High School students audition, and all 3 received $1,000 scholarships to Fresno State. We're incredibly proud of our THS drama students. Next slide, please. This year, Torres Skills USA competed for the first time in school history. In the criminal justice category, senior Jenny Bautista placed first and junior Maria Cuevas placed second. In crime scene investigations, the team of Ricardo Silva Cardosa, Eracedes Gonzalez, and Lauren Jerky placed eighth. And in architectural design, junior Omar Hyman placed third, and all of these students will advance to state finals in Ontario, April 13th through 16th. Next slide, please. For the first time in school history, our very own Torres Toro girls basketball team advanced in the CIF's Division 5 finals. Our girls didn't walk away with the Valley Championship, but we are incredibly proud of all the hard work and dedication that they put in to get there. We look forward to the future of our Torres girls basketball program. Our Torres wrestling program had a history-making season, winning the CIF Division 5 championship and sending 2 of our wrestlers to compete at the state championship competition. Next slide, please. Here are upcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miranda. Item number 7, school board member information and report. Trustee Sosa Ramirez, I invite you to share your report with the board, please.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, and individuals present. Throughout this last couple of months, I am sure Ms. Miranda's reports have enlightened you with the various activities that have taken place in and outside of Torres. As you can see, Torres High School spirit has been high in the form of sport attendance and students and athletes' performance. In terms of other discussions that have taken place I, together with the 3 other student trustees, came together with Associate Superintendent Sizzle to brainstorm and provide feedback for the 2023-2024 LCAP. To finalize this report, I would like to state that currently the next Student Voice Forum for Torres High School is scheduled for March 7th, 2023 after school at the lecture hall. The agenda will be released as we approach the date. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Now I invite Trustee Sabalsa to invite you to share your report with the board, please.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Superintendent Lyle, and members of the board. I would like to report this week that my alternative and I are currently working on setting up a date to hold our next student voice meeting for Madera High. We want to make sure that everyone is included. And so far, the students are enjoying their experience at Madera High, but we are looking forward to gathering feedback from our fellow peers to make their experience even better. And that will conclude my report.
Thank you, Trustee Sabalsa. Excuse me. Communications. Item number 8, the Madera Minutes. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board and public, this is that time when we show you all the exciting things that have happened in the last few weeks. And holy smokes, it has been a very exciting few weeks. Madera Unified is not used to all this happening all at once, but it seems like that's the new norm. Take it away.
We start this Madera Minutes with the first as Virginia Lee Rose Elementary held its first Winter Wonderland dance since the pandemic began. Students alongside a special adult in their life were able to dance the evening away while enjoying some fruity drinks and dessert.
Our student council kids did an amazing job. They helped decorate probably the last 5 days. They stayed after school and they helped a lot. And then all the teachers were very excited as well, and they also helped decorate and then help supervise.
For the first time, Math Tech students attended the California Future Business Leaders of America Central Section Conference, where 5 of the students who attended competed against other schools and qualified for a state. The event occurred at Matilda Torres High School and allowed students to experience a conference. And talking about conferences, Washington Elementary School Principal Adalberto Hernandez attended the conference for the National Association for Bilingual Education, where he got the chance to present his topic on engaging multilingual students, how the MTSS framework supports one school's transformation to a heritage dual language program. The association is the only national professional organization devoted to representing bilingual, multilingual students and bilingual education professionals. Trustees, parents, and MUSD staff attended the Local Control and Accountability Plan meeting at Madera South High School. Attendees got the opportunity to discuss several topics regarding the district and MUSD students. Families got the chance to offer district staff suggestions on how the funds should be spent for the 2023 and 2024 school year. Madera Unified School District brought the community together this week as it held an event at Madera South High School in honor of Black History Month. During the event, the district celebrated 3 Madera Method projects done by MUSC students that dove deeply into African American history, such as the Madera's journey from Jim Crow to civil rights, avenging the blood of Emmett Till, a courtroom saga where students from MUSC took part in the mock trial in regards to the Emmett Till case, and other projects.
When our community feels connected to the work that our students do and our students feel connected to the community, I think public education is always in a much better position than it would be otherwise. So today is one of those moments where we build bridges for multiple generations to walk across and to be a part of the same really important story.
It's been a great year for sports at Madera Unified as many teams from different schools made history, starting with the Madera High School boys basketball team. For the first time in 15 years, the Coyotes captured their first home playoff win.
We're in a very, very extremely tough league, and we just try to keep our head on and compete every possession. So for them to get a playoff win, the first of my head coaching career and the first for this school in a long time at home is special.
This was their first double-digit season since 2019 with 15 wins. And let's give it up for our Taurus girls basketball team who competed in the 2023 CIF Division 6 Basketball Championship and took home second place. This was the first time since the opening of the high school for their team to make it thus far. Congratulations. And we're finishing this Madera Minutes with a bang. Say hello to your new CIF Valley champions, the Madera South boys basketball team. This past weekend, the Stallions were crowned Division 5 champions after defeating McFarland 71-64. Congratulations to Madera South. Madera Unified is proud of you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Item number 8B, public hearing for visitors who wish to speak on a subject not on the board agenda. Mrs. Elizondo?
Yes. 15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address on items not listed on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the school board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. If the subject is an item on the agenda, the board president has the option of asking the speaker to hold a comment until that item is called. Comments on items listed as a public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item not on the agenda, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time. We do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing or hearing no one, I close the public hearing. Item number 9, information and reports. 9A, educational services, sports update. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, this is an exciting time for us to bring forward this report. We're fresh off some really big victories at our school sites in team sports, and here's another opportunity for that. This is, I think, Director Bitter, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the second time we've had an opportunity to present about esports to the board, and it is really new. It's something that that the community doesn't really fully understand yet. So, you know, when I think about esports, I think of Marty Bitter. That's who I think of, and here he is.
I am never going to claim to be tech savvy, that is for sure. But good evening, Superintendent Lyle, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. Thanks. I think this is the third time. The first time was really trying to get us all kind of on board and educated as to what was this esports thing doing. And then we did a little update as we got started. And then I was asked to do kind of a update this evening, just kind of where we're going. And there has been a few changes. It's growing, but it's slow. It's growing slowly. We have been investing, just to give you kind of a brief overview, kind of investing as now we're at least to the point where we're buying more monitors. We're working on getting some Nintendo Switches, which I'll explain a little bit about here in a few minutes. So we are adding to the program because we're getting more kids, and when we do get more kids, we want an opportunity for them to be able to participate. I'd like to introduce Chris Brown, who is in the back here. He is the coach at Madera South High School. And I think maybe out in Zoom land, we might have Ethan Rodriguez, who's the coach at Torres High School, and Sam Pena, who is the coach at Madera High School. If we can, do you have the slide presentation? We'll get that up. Next slide, please. Keep it rolling. There we go. Okay. This is I'm just going to kind of take you back for a few minutes just to kind of get back to where we were, kind of a refresher. I know we have some new board members since we started esports, but esports is what it is. It's gaming, right? It's electronic sports, electronic gaming. And, some people think that why would we call this, or why would the CIF, or why would the section add this as a sport? Quite honestly, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the world. There's tons of colleges offering scholarships. Kids are going to all these tech savvy businesses and having the opportunities to do internships and those types of things. If you go to Las Vegas, for example, the Luxor has, I think it's about a 12,000 seat arena at the Luxor for esports competitions. So it is a big deal. They sell out lots of arenas, and worldwide, there's been more people that will watch a live event than watch the Super Bowl live. It is video gaming, and it's played in various platforms or various team play. You can play 1v1, you can play 3 versus 3, 5 versus 5, and that comes in handy for us as we kind of get through our games. They do have a league. We just switched, which I'll get to that in a later slide, but they play leagues, tourneys, and postseason. We actually tried to host a tournament at Madera High School recently. There were a few things that caused a couple little hiccups, and there weren't enough participants to actually host it. We wanted to try to get people from around the valley. There's still not a ton of schools playing, but get them into our arenas and actually play a live event where people can see. I think Chris played one event in the cafeteria where they had, I think, the soccer team and several of the student body came in and kind of rooted them on, just like a regular. Yeah, it was awesome. Pretty cool event. Next slide, please. Okay, this is kind of one that some of you may have seen. It's kind of when we jumped on board, and again, huge thanks to the board because they had the foresight and were willing to take the risk and make the investment when not a lot of other schools were. But during COVID in 2020, I know that's not a word we want to bring up very often, but that's kind of when we jumped on board. And quite honestly, that's when all of our kids were sitting at home. They didn't have regular sports. And that was kind of the initial start of this. And we were able to kind of get on board and finance it and get all the stuff that we needed in order to perform so that our kids actually had something that they could do through virtual. At that time, it was about 100 schools, roughly about 1,000 students. And the hope was that it would grow by 100 schools and 1,000 students each year as we kind of moved through. In 2021, it did. COVID became a negative. A lot of schools at that time weren't willing to take the risk earlier. School districts didn't then have the money in order to invest and didn't have the bandwidth at a lot of schools. So a lot of them chose not to. We were fortunate to be ahead of the game in that point. And roughly another 100 schools joined. Now this year, it slid back a little bit. You'll see it's back to 180 schools. The reality of it in California, there is probably 300 or 400 schools, but what we did was we switched platforms. And we switched platforms from Play Versus, which is where we were, to NASEF, which is the North American Scholastic Esports Federation. Next slide. The transition, some of the changes from the transition was esports had 2 seasons, right? There's several games. We play 3 games. We're adding a couple, but we had a fall sports season and a spring sports season. When we went to the new platform, now it's just a spring sport. So it's run very similar to a lot of our other sports. For example, baseball. Baseball plays in the spring, but that doesn't mean necessarily that our baseball team only practices during the season, right? These guys in esports will still do a bunch of stuff through our expanded learning programs. Then they'll do stuff in the fall. In the fall, they have like fall ball, for example, where they can hook up and play games in the fall, even though they aren't in a league. Secondly, the switch. It was a huge cost for us. It was costing us about $3,000, about $1,000 per school to play with Play VS. Now, NASEF only charges about $100 per school. So it's a lot less expensive for us to play. And NASEF is structured, it's an educationally based program. So there's lots of factors. It's not really necessarily a for-profit organization. It's just it's more school-based and school-run. We currently play League of Legends, we play Rocket League, and we play Mario Smash Bros. And I think there's a Mario movie that's coming out that is kind of similar to some of the things that they do. And the 2 games down here, some of our kids have been playing for a while, but we hadn't adopted them basically because the CIF still hadn't adopted them. The CIF kind of really stays away, as I think our board would like, from a lot of shooter type games. And some of the schools that aren't under the CIF umbrella, they might have an esports club, but those clubs can open up and basically play games that the kids really shouldn't be involved in. So these are kind of more along the lines of PG, but we are moving into Overwatch and Valorant as which are 2 games that we will be adding. And the reason we're going to add them now is because eventually the CIF is going to get on board, and those will be games that will be added. This slide here, you can just see how many schools. Now I said 180 schools. This is kind of the breakdown, and I'll explain that in a minute too. But 77 schools are playing League of Legends, 64 schools are playing Rocket League, and then another 110 play Smash Bros, which is the most popular game. The switches, and I am not super tech savvy, so I would draw on Coach Brown back here, but the Nintendo Switch kind of opens up, and we did a lot of work and have had a lot of discussion and a lot of thanks to Key and his group in IT, because the Nintendo Switch kind of opens up our internet so that kids could actually, if they wanted to, kind of get on games that were outside of what we would like in our school system. So we kind of were very apprehensive and wanted to make sure we can maintain our firewalls, and coaches were overseeing them properly and whatnot. But they are, quite honestly, the most popular games, and most schools are playing them. So we are in the process. We have a couple switches. We are in the process of waiting for them. They should probably be here. My guess is probably next week.
So Director Bitter, just as a point of clarification, for those that don't know out in Zoomland, because of course everyone up here knows, a Nintendo Switch is a handheld video gaming device with its own screen. Is that not correct?
Well, actually, Coach, can you explain what the Switch is? Kind of it allows multiple screens. They won't play off of it, but it'll allow you to play off of multiple screens off of the same
Handheld
hub.
device. Yeah.
We'll be able to, the rules for the game usually are that you have one Nintendo Switch hooked up to a large TV, which we have in our rooms. And then with controllers, you will be able to play 2 or 4 players at a time. And so in terms of like person to device, it's fantastic. Because right now I'm playing 1 PC, 1 kid. I'll be able to play 2 to 4 kids on one Nintendo Switch.
And one screen.
On one screen,
And one
there'll
big
be
screen.
partition for them to see with it.
Yep.
Thank you. That's key. That's Key's department there. So my apologies. But we couldn't play Smash Bros if we didn't have a switch. So that was kind of a key switch for us. Next slide. I just kind of wanted to go through the high schools and explain how we're doing and why the 3 leagues and how it works. Currently, Madera High has 25 kids. We're finding in, they actually have about 22 kids right now. We're finding in esports is just like everything else, right? We have kids that want to play. We also have kids that don't make grades and end up being removed from the program. We have kids that don't do well in grades and then all of a sudden want to play on the esports team. So all of a sudden, for whatever, that lights a little fire and they get the grades in order and end up participating. And then during the season, we also lose kids sometimes they'll want to go play a spring sport, or we'll get a few kids from a winter sport, which is just ended and we transition. So the numbers kind of vary a little bit, but currently at Madera High, there's roughly 22 kids and they're playing 3 sports. So with that many kids, it's hard because the games are 3-on-3 or 5-on-5. So what they do is they'll take the kids and on Tuesdays they play Rocket League, on Wednesdays they play League of Legends, and on Thursday they play Smash Bros. So those kids will work out and, maybe a group is part of the Rocket League. And then another group of those 22 kids, different group, will play League of Legends and so on and so forth for this season. And then after they'll switch and play a different game. So they're focusing kind of on one game at a time. They play all their games at 4:15 and at Madera High School, if you want to go check it out, they play in room 603. I was talking to Coach earlier and one of the nice things, and I think more schools will be coming over to the new system. Some kind of stayed behind just because, like everything, it's new. They want to find out if it works and if it's cool before they make the plunge. So I think more schools will be coming over. The negatives, I would say, like Coach just used the word a little earlier, that's a little janky, which means it has a few kinks that need to be worked out. So I think the new system will get better and more schools eventually will come over. And the reason for that is because the CIF underwrites it basically. And if they end up wanting to play in what's going to happen, section championships, state matches, and those types of things, they're going to come over. So that's a little bit about Madera High's group. At Madera South, you see they only have 4 kids. They have up to 8 kids right now. Not as many kids involved at Madera South and kids kind of coming and going. Cool thing that Coach is working on right now actually is working on a unified esports team. So for those of you unfamiliar with esports, we've got a big game coming up. I want to send out stuff, and if you
I mean unified sports.
Unified, yeah, we will have a big regular unified, but that's where our special needs students team up on the same team with our gen ed kids and compete against other teams of the same makeup. So to do it in esports is just another way to create culture and get those kids involved with other kids on our campuses. So that's kind of cool. And he plays Rocket League currently on Tuesdays at 4:15, and they're in Academic A on the bottom in 116. And then the Toros currently have a dozen kids, and I have not, that was as of when I sent this in, I have not talked to Coach, so I don't know if we got winter kids. The winter kids are just finishing up, but they play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Rocket League, League of Legends, and H106. All the teams I think are doing, I don't know what their overall records are. I printed this a couple weeks ago, so they've played a couple games since then. What they do like about this is in play versus, you didn't know until day of who you were playing and what time you were playing. This is more like regular sports where now they have a schedule, right? So a 10 or 11 week schedule. They know exactly who they're playing on each day, and they can kind of prepare and do those kinds of things. So that's kind of where we're at. Next slide, I believe, is questions. So I don't know if there's anything in particular that you guys were interested in with esports. I know Coach has big dreams. We met and obviously in his vision, he wants to grow it to where we have a facility and can host esports competitions and have a theater type atmosphere where all three of our high schools can participate. So with that kind of vision and that kind of work ethic, I think we're heading in the right direction. Questions?
Any questions, trustees?
Awesome.
No question.
Okay.
Director Bitter, I have a question.
All right.
That's okay.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you for the very thorough report. And I was fortunate enough to get to see, some of the students, because I had no idea really what it was, but the kids were excited, they were enthusiastic, and, one girl was doing some studying for something else, but she wanted to be there. And so it was really good. And I'm glad it's, positive for our students.
Thank you. Thank you.
Director Bitter, thank you for keeping the budget in mind.
We try.
Quite a bit of savings. And the other is the NSF, it's a school base. And is this kind of like really growing? Because it's just basically a school. Is it kind of shutting out the other that we were on?
Well, I think eventually, and this is my own personal opinion. The CIF wanted it to be school structured, right? Before we got involved, and it's education-based athletics with all of our sports. So I think Play Versus kind of came in and was the new sheriff in town and had a new product and was able to kind of for-profit it and run with it, right? They were the only show in town. And I think then other educational institutions got in and understand the dynamics of the school setting and know some of our socioeconomic areas and the different facets that we face in education, and thought they wanted to promote and give kids the same opportunities and not have to make a whole lot of money, but yet the same career opportunities and resources and all those types of things are still involved. So I think it's just going to grow. I think Play Versus is going to have to go into another avenue eventually. It might take a few years, but I think that's kind of what I foresee.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bitter.
Yeah. I want to say thank you before I walk away, because we have had a wonderful winter. But the beauty of it, I just want you all to know how much our kids appreciate you being at, and I've seen many of you at our events at Salt Summit Selland Arena. I see them at our Mules events. I see them at our section wrestling championships, and how much that means to our kids to see you out at our events. They think they're big time when the board members come. So thank you for supporting us.
Thank you, Director Bitter. Next, item number 9B, union time. At this time, I invite the presidents of the unions to address the board. Mr. Holder, as MUTA president, would you like to address the board?
Good evening, Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, board members, Superintendent Lyle. It's been a couple years since the Fresno Madera Service Center has invited board members, particular new board members, to the dinner event. Obviously, what's occurred over the last years prevented some of those social interactions. So for 23, they are restarting again. So I have the announcement invitation for all of you to attend. It's going to be March 30th, which is a Thursday at 5:30. The venue has not yet been set, so that is in the process, but I can give the invitations either out to you right now or to Mrs. Elizondo to hand out to you. So, okay. And that's it. I hope that you can attend. There's an RSVP either to the service center staff, or if you want to discuss and let me know who can make it, then I'll just do it all at once.
Thank you for the invitation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holder. Any other union presidents?
President Sharon Giddens is online, but she has nothing to report, President Salazar.
Okay, thank you. Item number 10, superintendent time.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board and public, I do have a few things I'd like to share. I want to congratulate Washington Elementary for the spotlight they received in Portland, Oregon, where a team of Tiger leaders presented to educators from across the country at the invitation of the National Bilingual Educators Association. The heritage language program and school culture have been married to so successfully that the nation is taking notice. So congratulations to Mr. Hernandez and the leaders who have made such a positive impact at such a proud school. I'd like to also thank the Torres High School staff and Mrs. Rodriguez for the use of the beautiful facility yesterday for strategic action planning. The work of our teacher leaders and site leaders, that all of that they're doing together is professional and builds capacity and ownership to the point we envisioned when we started this process several years ago. Our ability to understand data and how to utilize it to make needed instructional change is beginning to show through in the depth of collaboration and the willingness to take responsibility to make needed changes. We are only going to improve when we create conditions that match our expectations and potential, and when our student champions have the professional culture needed to be creative, innovative, and responsive to student needs. So congratulations to everyone on a successful day yesterday. The THS girls varsity basketball team made it to the section finals at Selland Arena and lost a very hard-fought game against Lindsay High School. The girls and the coaching staff made us very proud with their sportsmanship, camaraderie, and willingness to compete down to the very last possession. The team is young and will no doubt be back in the gym preparing for next year as soon as possible, by the rules, of course. Congratulations to the THS boys wrestling program for winning the CIF championship with some gritty and tough matches that showed what the Toros are made of. Madera is a wrestling town, and it seems Torres is going to be a wrestling school. Congratulations, Toros, on setting the bar very high. We can't wait to see what this group of wrestlers can do next season with this success level to build upon. The Madera South High School boys basketball CIF championship is the first time since Sandon's dad was on a team in 1963. The team played very hard and represented the district well at Selland Arena, and we're all very proud and happy for those young men and their coaches, and that they were briefly able to share this glory in the moment. Congratulations on making history. Congratulations also to the Coyote Theater Company for their successful production of Little Women. The black box was nearly filled, and it sounds as though they experienced great audience turnout throughout the show's run. They even provided a special show for feeder schools. The actors sang their hearts out and pulled together for a very fun show. My family thoroughly enjoyed it, and we are excited for Mr. Sherwood's next play. Also, thanks to Madera South High School for hosting the Madera Method Black History Month celebration of the last 3 student projects. The first one was 27 Years a Free Man, the life of Gabriel Bibbard Moore and trustees. And then there was the Jim Crow in Madera, and finally, the story of Emmett Till. Trustees Dibert, Fleek, and President Salazar were all there, and we thank you for that. And thanks to our IT and communication staff for their responsive support, and a special thanks to Bill Coate for proposing and spearheading the entire celebration. Having elected leaders, district staff, and the African American community leaders all together makes Madera a special place to live and learn. Finally, thanks to Madera Noon Rotary for hosting a State of the District address today, and thank you to Mr. Marshall and Ms. Medina for co-presenting with me and sharing with our Rotarians the vast array of supports that our families and students have access to today. Appreciate your time and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Now, item number 11, consent agenda. Mrs. Elizondo?
Items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items prior to the board vote unless a member of the board or staff requests specific items be considered and discussed separately and/or removed from the consent agenda prior to the adoption of the agenda. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent agenda approved by the Board of Trustees shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended.
I now open the consent agenda for public comment. Mrs. Elizondo?
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have anyone who would like to make a comment at this time, and we have no comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. I now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. State your name when making the motion and when you second the motion. Trustees,
Trustee Cybert, I move to approve the consent agenda.
thank you.
Trustee Fleek, I'll second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Trustee Seibert and seconded by Trustee Fleet to approve the consent agenda. There is no resolution in this consent agenda. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez,
Yes.
Trustee Zavalza,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar counted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent. 2 of the 9 votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to thank and acknowledge the following retiree for the service, not only in the Madera Unified, but his service and commitment to Madera community he serves. Thank you. Donald Duncan, a teacher at Deciman, would be retiring on June 9, 2023, after 36 years of service. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. We're going to go to item 12, old business. 12A, educational services, second reading and request approval of the arts, music, and instructional materials discretionary block grant expenditure plan. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, I'd also like to thank Mr. Duncan for, in those 36 years, being a basketball coach of mine for 2 of them. I know it wasn't easy, and thanks for helping me foul out for the very first time in Thomas Jefferson history in the B.J. Robinson Gym. I have that record, and it's the only record I have in athletics in Madera Unified, I promise you. The first kid ever to foul out in that gym, that's me. Thanks, Coach. I remember. For this item, we have Associate Superintendent Cheryl Sissel to review with the board. Ms. Sissel.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle. I'm here tonight to ask for approval of the proposed expenditure plan for the arts, music, and instructional materials discretionary block grant. At the previous board meeting on the 14th, I was able to give you all a presentation. I have just a couple slides, but no clicker, so David's going to be my assistant. So, quick reminder, the funds that we've been allocated, it's one-time funds, it's a block grant. Funds should be allocated or encumbered by the 25-26 school year. And if you'll recall, our original allocation was around 11 million and some change. Due to the governor's revised or expected revised budget, we are expecting a 30% reduction, which took us down to like 7.8 million. Next slide. As a reminder, what the bill encourages us to use the money for. And so the idea is that the money is to support arts and music programs, but it gives you specific criteria within arts and music programs. So one of the ways you can utilize the funds is to obtain standards aligned professional development and acquire instructional materials. Also obtain instructional materials and professional development that would be specific to improving the culture, including restorative justice strategies, digital literacy, physical education, and learning through play. Number 3 is diverse book collections and culturally relevant text. Number 4 is the operational costs If we were hiring staff, this is where you'd have those types of costs. Number 5 is equipment and supplies necessary to keep students and staff safe from COVID in schools. And then 6 is sort of a catch-all category that is included in the program plan template. So the 6th area is one that you can utilize to purchase any types of items associated with arts and music education. So as a reminder, the summary of our expenditure plan is this. We would use about $1.5 million for professional development and instructional materials associated with new and revised arts and music curriculum. We had allocated about $60,000 to invest in professional development for teachers that would help them be better equipped to work with some of the more challenging situations that teachers incurred during our classrooms. This would be specific for our elementary school teachers. We've allocated about $3 million for diverse book collections. As a reminder, we've invested probably somewhere between $3 and $5 million in libraries in the last probably 3 to 5 years. What we plan to use this $3 million for is classroom libraries. We've heard a lot of feedback from teachers, specifically students in listening sessions, that they would really like to have more culturally relevant text available for them to read in classrooms. So this $3 million would be an investment into classroom libraries. The operational costs, so $505,000 is the indirect costs associated with basically the time assumed through our business office to manage the grant. And we didn't invest any in COVID-19. We still have plenty of what would be considered safety materials for our arts and music education programs. And then lastly, we have about $2.7 million that would go specifically to arts and music education. And that's some of those big ticket items that we spoke about in our previous presentation.
Sure. I now open this for public comment. Mrs. Elizondo.
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. Trustees, do you have any questions for staff? Any questions, trustees?
Just a comment. Thank you, Mrs. Yeah, I look forward to the day when we can actually experience marachis, baile folclórico, and just simple dancing. Hopefully that'll come one day. Huh? Well, with the dance on a bigger scale. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, trustees? No? It has been, okay, excuse me. I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item 12A1. Please state your name and when you make a motion and a second.
Trustee Seibert, I move for approval of 12A1.
Thank you.
Clerk Mendoza, I second it.
Thank you. It has been moved by trustee Seibert and second by clerk Mendoza to approve the arts, music, and instructional materials discretionary block grant expenditure plan. Ms. Elizondo, please poll the board.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez,
Yes.
Trustee Zavalza,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent. 2 of the 9 votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Item number 13, new business. 13A1, Superintendent Board Elections of 2023 CSBA Delegate Assembly. Subregion 10A, Madera and Mariposa County. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. The California School District Board, let me try to get this right. The Madera County School Board Association sends one member to the California School Board Association, and we must elect a delegate every 2 years to represent them at the California School Board Association Assembly. Ms. Barbara Bigelow, a longtime board member in Chewonaki Unified School District, is the incumbent candidate and is running for the seat in Subregion 10A, which covers Madera and Mariposa County. The board must either cast their vote for this candidate or submit a write-in candidate, and it has been our standing past practice to support her candidacy and her advocacy for Madera County. If the board so wishes, it can make a motion and move to support her candidacy or to provide a write-in candidate for the School Board Association, and there is a meeting tomorrow of that association.
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. Trustees, do you have any thoughts about candidate Barbara Bigelow or any suggestions for a write-in candidate? Trustee Dybert?
I don't at this time, but I think that maybe Madera Unified should consider one of the trustees being representing there because we're one of the biggest school districts in Madera County. So maybe not now because this is going to take 2 years. Maybe in 2 years, think about maybe one of our more senior trustees because then we'll have another voice at a higher level.
Thank you, Ms. Dybert. Trustee Ahmad? Trustee Cortez?
Nope.
Trustee Fleet?
I've worked with Barbara Bigelow on several things, and she does a really good job, and I would like to vote for her.
Thank you. Trustee Seibert?
Yeah, Barbara does a great job. She's not gonna be able to do it forever. Does this have to be a board member?
I don't know the answer to that. It has been, I do think they have to have stood for election. I do believe that's the case, but I don't know that for certain. That's just my understanding without having read the bylaws.
Barbara's doing it for a long time, and I know she does a good job. She's liable to retire. And so I was wondering, you want somebody, our board turns over. So it'd be nice if we had somebody that we could rely on year after year after year. That's why I was asking if it has to be a board member.
Right.
All right.
Clerk Mendoza?
Well, Ms. Bigelow, she covers more than just Madera Unified. She covers other districts as well. So I would, my suggestion is to recommend her once again for that position.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Mendoza. Okay, trustee Dybert, since you came up with the suggestions of writing candidate, do you have somebody in mind to write in?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, I'm thinking we should consider in the future. At this term, I think she's doing a great job, but,
In the
would be
future.
something for us to consider, not now, no.
Okay, thank you.
I'm pretty happy with her.
Mr. Ahmad, do you have a question?
No.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve candidate Barbara Bigelow for a proposed, state your name and when making the motion and when you second the motion?
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve candidate Barbara Bigelow.
Do I have a second?
Trustee Dybert, I second that.
Thank you. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza, second by Trustee Dybert, to vote for Barbara Bigelow for the election of 2023 CSBA Delegate Assembly, Subregion 10A, Madera, Mariposa and Counties. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez,
Yes.
Trustee Zavalza,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar counted 9 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent. 2 of the 9 votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Now I go to item 13B1, Human Resources, request adoption of resolution number 26-2022-23, classified layoff reductions. Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, we have Assistant Superintendent Joe Aiello from Human Resources here for this item. Sir.
Thank you. President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Superintendent Lyle. Before you tonight, we have a request for adoption of resolution for classified layoffs. Currently, right now, we are requesting that there are 12 positions that will be noticed for layoff. 10 of them are office assistant positions and 2 are student advocates. And our request is due to lack of funds, lack of work. Our office assistants, you approved last year for a 2-year term due to the needs to support the attendance and following through with our student needs due to COVID. And then our student advocates are categorical positions that are lack of work. I can answer any questions.
Any questions, trustees? No? Okay. I now open this item for public comment. Mrs. Elizondo?
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on our screen, and comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. Trustees, do you have any questions for staff?
I have a question. Is it due to lack of work or due to lack of funds?
Lack of work.
Because when I go to some of the offices, they're kind of overwhelmed with work. So, yeah.
The office assistants are actually in the call center right now. They're in one location and they're doing all those phone calls. So it's a different, originally that we started out, our board approved 30 positions and we hired at one point up to 15 of those. And we're down to 10 current office assistants and they're working in the call center, helping to follow up on attendance issues.
And they probably won't go back into an office situation.
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item 13B1. Please state your name when you make a motion and the second motion.
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve 13B1.
Do you have a second?
Trustee Ahmad, second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Ahmad to approve resolution number 26-2022-23, classified layoff reductions. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board.
Trustee Sosa Ramirez,
Would like to abstain?
Yes.
Trustee Zavalza,
Yes.
Trustee Ahmad, Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, it counted 8 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention, and 0 absent. 2 of the 9 votes were preferential.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Item number 14, announcements. Superintendent Lyle, do you have any announcements for the board?
Only two. On Monday, March 13th of 2023, we have a collaboration team day. That's a no school day for students, and our teachers come together and they really work hard on developing the right kinds of plans necessary to uplift our students' achievement. And that comes on the heels of the strategic action planning day we just had. Those are planned in conjunction with one another so that we're getting some real support for academic improvement. And the second announcement is that staff's been working diligently for several weeks with consultant Mike Crass to schedule a series of workshops beginning with board governance. The topics were suggested by our current trustees, and therefore, to support the vast amount of information requested, we need a series of workshops. We will discuss with our trustees those draft agendas for your feedback in just a few minutes, and we have some documents for you. Those are my announcements. These as well. Take one, pass them down. So for number 7, item. I believe so, and we just want to make sure that we're meeting your needs. But those are my announcements. We can go on to item 15. And then we can pick this back up in item 17.
Okay, thank you. 15A, miscellaneous board member committee and information reports. Trustees, this is an opportunity for you to provide your fellow board members with updates or reports from committee meetings or events you have attended. I will start with Trustee Ahmad.
On February 23rd, I attended a District Safety Advisory Committee meeting via Zoom, and there were a few key points were discussed. One was active shooter training and drug prevention. I believe it's a good idea to have a town, which was suggested in the meeting, that town hall meeting for have a drug prevention training for parents and students. So to be for awareness of that drugs, and especially we're talking about whipping all these the pens and stuff. And one other thing was, I think it's a really good idea to have a tag dog, which they were discussing, that is a drug dog. So to have it our own for Madera Unified. So I believe this is a good idea. And then also I attended over the weekend Valley Championship where Madera South played against McLean and was victorious 71-64. It was a great game. It was very interesting to watch. And I would like to congratulate and go Stallion. That's all I want to say. That's all I attended. Good job.
All right, thank you. Trustee Cortez.
And nothing to report. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Dybert.
A 5-page report? I'm just kidding. No. I'm going to go really quick and just list the places that I attended. And there's quite a few observations that I can share with Superintendent Lyle later for the sake of time. On February 15, I attended the Wellness Committee Zoom meeting. It was very good. It was my first time attending that meeting. A lot of different departments participate there. They gave a report. One of the highlights was the students there and Mr. Johnny Mendez, the Madera South High School Youth Leadership Institute. They did a project in which the students were asked what motivated them to come to school. And they said that they liked pretty much they like their teachers, but they would like to see less, they would like to be lecture less and interact more with the students and the teacher in an environment where they will feel respected and build relationship with teachers. They're very hungry for that communication with them and less lecture. One of the things that they suggested is if a teacher starts the morning and says, how are you doing? How are you feeling today? And they say that could set the tone for them how their day will be if they're acknowledged. Each student, just simple as that. That's all they said. The other thing they want to is bring multicultural at the schools. So they're working on, or they're discussing building a mural that shows all the different cultures, the different schools, different students where they come from, which is very good. That's something that they're working on. There's more to report, but I'm gonna cut there. February 16, I attended a meeting with Assistant Superintendent Sissel, Director Guerrero, along with President Salazar and Trustee Cortez to learn about the K-3 literacy program staff. I did learn a lot more than what I know, and I know that you're going to be working on a board workshop. That evening, I also attended the Purple Pyramid LCAP community feedback. I just have to praise staff for including the parents and the parents responding to the meetings that you attend, that you present. So I'm so glad to see that many parents, but especially our Spanish-speaking parents, they're very outspoken. They're not shy for telling staff what they want for their kids, and that's very important. The only thing I suggest that maybe space out a little bit, because we were kind of running into each other on the different stations. So that's all. On Friday, February 17, I attended the Mules competition and I gave awards to the students. It was always very rewarding to see our work and seeing the kids coming and receiving their medals. On Tuesday, February 21st, I attended the Trauma-Informed webinar hosted at CSBA. The presenters provided a lot of information on new laws and advised boards not to feel pressure to approve policies too quickly. Later that afternoon, I attended the Alternative Education Student Voice meeting led by Trustee Santos. It was their first meeting, and I was happy to see a good amount of students in attendance. The students expressed concerns. Let me see, different concerns, and I know Superintendent Lyle sent out an email to all the principals, I believe, and included the board members. But Wednesday, February 22nd, I attended the Furman High School ELAC and School Site Council meeting. Monday, yesterday, I visited John Adams SAP team at Torres High School. I visited the school leadership. They were working busy discussing their NWA test results, how to raise student achievement. Later that morning, I also attended Madera Method event at Madera South High School. And this morning, I saw Class in Action when I visited John Adams. And I want to thank all the STAR teachers for allowing me to watch them make a difference in the life of children. It's very rewarding to go visit without even saying anything, just watch them. It's really nice. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. Trustee Ahmad? Oh, you already said, right. Sorry. Trustee Fleek.
Okay, at the Wellness Committee meeting, all the members are still engaged in keeping our students and staff healthy, and that's a very big job. Madera South High School had their community connection lunch for Black History Month. The fried chicken, collard greens, and baked mac and cheese was delicious. That evening, the Purple Pyramid had their LCAP community feedback evening at South, and numerous parents attended. Madera United League of Elementary Schools, which is MULES, had their cross-country championship on Friday the 17th. Athletes were well-trained and eager to participate. The third grade Madera County Museum tours are going well. Students are very excited to see everything on the 3 floors at the old courthouse. At the Safety Committee meeting, work is continuing on how to make it safer for our students to get to school and leave at the end of the day. So traffic and pedestrian walks is a big concern. Yesterday at Madera South Library, the Madera Method celebrated Black History Month. And here are the 3 books. The 3 books were written by students from Dixieland, Eastern Arcola, and Lavina. And they were presented to some of our people there. It was written under the direction of Madera Method Coordinator, Mr. Bill Coate. Several special guests were present. Mrs. Marcella Andrews spoke about her being a young girl at the Emmett Till funeral in Chicago and how that has affected her life. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee Cyber?
I just got a question on this here, CSBA board member from our area. Over the years, we always get it the day before the vote.
Mhm,
And so board members don't have an opportunity to think about it.
mhm.
Or if we're gonna run somebody, you've got to,
Vet them and everything.
you got to let other schools know who you got up. So we need to address this, at least 2 months ahead of time. Or a month, so that if a board member does want to do it, then you've got to get it out to the other school districts before they vote.
Something we could add to our calendar.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Cyber. Clerk Mendoza?
Yeah, just to recap, I attended the Safety Advisory Committee. There's quite a few things in the works, very positive, moving in the right direction. But I'd also like to say that we had the largest participation that I'm aware of at our last Safety Advisory Committee. So it just goes to show that there's a lot of people that are involved and they're engaged and they want to make sure that the facilities, the staff, and the students are safe and in good shape. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Mendoza. As for myself, I also attended the literacy review workshop with Super Sizzle. Sorry, my tongue's tied. On the 18th of February, I attended the City of Madera Black History, and Mr. Prince Marshall was recognized. Thank you very much for your involvement with our community. On the 23rd, I attended one of Miranda's site visits, and it was good because she was already had been working on her NWA, and they were already working on their SAP. So that was great because they were working on those issues that they they need to work on. Also, I attended Torres High School 4+0 awards. And then on last Friday, I attended the meeting via Zoom for CalCed. And most of the things what they talked about was our budget, Proposition 28, Proposition 98, the art grant, all those that the governor might be taking away some of our funds, moving it to the other grant. So those are things that we need to be looking at. We're budgeting some of these projects that we're looking at. And then also our COLA, they're still waiting for our actual, what is it called? Cost of living, right? The actual percentage that, it might be like 8.4 or 8.2 for January, but he might reduce it. Or COLA might not be or also cost of living that they might make some adjustments to that. So those are all, they're still thinking of budget cuts. So those are things that we need to be looking at. I'm sure our CFO is already thinking of those avenues because she's on top of things. Thank you. And also, I did go see Little Women this Sunday. We took our grandkids. I took my grandsons and they enjoyed it. I read all the books and saw all the movies and everything. And so they enjoyed it. And again, attended the Madera South High School where they have the Madera Method celebration, and you guys already shared of the different, they were there. And then I was sitting with a couple of members that were on the trial. They were actually the jurors, and they were sharing some of their feedback on that. And then on the 3 books that were written and printed here in Madera and the history and here in our valley, I took those 3 books home and I started reading with my grandsons, and we're going to share that because I think this kind of teaching starts from home. And so even though my grandchildren don't live with me, they need to hear this. And that's because it's something that's something they're growing into. And then yesterday I attended the DLAC meeting, and I commend CISL staff that the work they do, this DLAC committee, they're very engaged. They give their all, they study their different goals. And I thank the trustees who were there and all the parents that share, and they're very engaging. And that's it for me. And Advanced planning, like Mr. Superintendent Lau, I'll let you go first on our advanced planning. And we have, go ahead.
So what you'll see at the dais that has been made available to you is, I think it is 6 draft workshops. We think it might even still, looking at it again, we keep looking at this with President Salazar and Mr. Crass. It feels as though we almost probably need to have 8 workshops. I'm not sure you want to have 8 workshops in one semester. I think that might be a record in the history of Madera Unified, but this board is, as it was several years ago, back to being extremely hungry for information. We promise not to starve you. We'll overfeed you. If you want to be gorged on information, we have more information than we could possibly ever share. We also want to share with you, for your feedback, we want you to look at those draft agendas and let us know what you think, but we want you to give feedback based on an artifact and not an idea. There's also there's an opportunity there to select the date that works best for you for a governance workshop. And for just to remind the board, we had a governance workshop last on the 22nd of February last year. So we're pretty close to in line with that, but not quite. We're about a week or 2 weeks off where we were a year ago, but we've been working on a massive list of needs that you brought forward as a team for us to digest as a staff. And we will go offline with some of our priorities to get you the information you need if you feel as though it's crucial, and we can schedule these in an order that's prioritized by our board leadership to your desires. We also would like to share with you the templates. We started with the template that we worked on with President McIntyre and Clerk Salazar. That template was still thought to be missing some key ingredients. We had an opportunity to look at some examples from some school sites that presented some different information, and we looked at that as a potential quarterly report. And we're back to an amended and expanded version of the original template that we worked on last fall, and that's what you see before you, color-coded. And I believe it's a school site in the Red Pyramids actual data, and this is what it might look like. So you'll have the opportunity to look at that and get good at looking at it. We also are still working on other ways we can bring you this information to show you our progress on the board goal. It's a little bit challenging to show you the project on the board goal until the end of the year, but we can show you how we're trending using NWEA. So we have some ideas on how to continue to revise this so that you feel as though you're able to hold us accountable. We hear from you that you feel the need to do that. And so we're not here to stop you to do that. We're here to support you in doing that in a way that actually empowers you with information that's actionable. So there's a lot there for your review, but you asked for a great deal. Careful what you wish for.
Thank you.
Got it.
Trustees,
Can I say something on
Yes,
this?
yes, sir.
You're talking about goals and stuff. You know, at first I'd like to see the board sit down with the district staff and what they're working on, what they've been working on, and give us an overall view so we all understand as board members where we're at, where we've been, and where we're going. So that gives us more information on how we decide what kind of goals we want to work on. But, you know, we just can't go at it in a vacuum and say we want this and this and this and that until we understand
right
where we've been, where we're at, and where the district's planning on going. And then once we understand all that, then we start talking about any adjustments.
I think that's spoken with a lot of wisdom. And what you're looking at in terms of this template for quarterly reports is very specific to the board's singular focused goal on 80% of our students achieving their best growth target by 2025. So you'll see where our students are progressing as the year goes on and as we move toward 2025, but there are other things to work on as well. We know that. And there are other priorities the board will have. I think that's accurate. And that's reflected in the vast amount of requests for information that we got at the beginning of the year. It's quite a bit, as you'll see in those draft workshop agendas. And I'll just be really honest, as several of you who've lived through this at the dais know already, any one of those is a 3-hour, every single one of those things that you ask for is a 3-hour workshop if we do it really thoroughly. And if I remember right, I think you've asked for like A through M. So you add up those hours in the preparation behind the scenes. We want to make sure that we're meeting your needs so we don't spin our wheels, because when our team disengages from one priority to take on this information gathering and presentation building, they're going to set aside other priorities and they're going to kill themselves to get you everything that you need. And then they're going to have to present and go right back to those priorities and see if they can catch them before they fall down. And some of you have lived this with us, so you know how this goes. We're not overstaffed so that we can kind of, work the things out eventually. Like we literally have to stop something in progress in order to work on these kinds of things. It's very challenging. So we want to make sure that we're doing it on a schedule that meets your needs, and we want to make sure we're not dragging our feet for any reason and that you don't feel that way. All right?
Thank you, Superintendent Lau. Trustees, any other questions? So you have this information in front of you.
President Salazar,
Go
I don't
ahead.
have any questions, but I do understand, and I lived through, those reports, how long it takes.
You certainly did.
So, but these reports could be built into when we build our calendar, right? Our board calendars, when we want certain reports throughout the year, so they don't have to be, we can prioritize the ones that we want, like the quarterly reports that we want to align with our goals. But maybe the facilities reports, although the other reports could be scheduled out throughout the year. I'm not sure if that's the same. I would hate for you to have to, because I know the work behind the scenes, how many hours every department will have to do. So I'm not sure if, I want to make sure that I'm understanding correctly that are we asking staff to present all these reports in a consecutive manner starting March 9, or is this something that we're going to build as we build our calendar for board calendar throughout the year? That's the
As we
question.
build our board calendar, one of our first things is to build our board calendar. And once we do that, based on our goals, based on the LCAP, align with those items, we should address our board calendar. Once those things go, once we do our calendar, then we'll go to the next step and see if we're going to, if these quarterly reports that we're getting are, or is it the benchmarks that we want? Because in our goal setting, that's what we ask for. So we already have the structure, the goal structure that we already had talked about back in May. So are we meeting those goal structures? Do we need to adjust anything? That's what we're going to discuss. We're going to
Right.
discuss those
Right.
guidelines. As we discuss them, when we see our quarterly reports, and then is when we're going to give direction to superintendent. So then in the next, whatever we ask for, then we go to the next phase, facilities or whatever it may be, literacy. We already had our workshops with the CISO, and so do we still need more? Do we still need to hash that more out? We already understood that. Do we go to the next thing? And that's what we will be doing.
Okay, so my understanding is we want to do the board governance workshop first. And then the next priority that I heard over from everybody is the quarterly reports. So those are the two that maybe we should focus on. And then as we build our calendar, we should plug in the dates when we want these other, like I see behavioral health, academic improvement strategies, there's a different topics, athletics improvement, student recruitment, all of that could be calendared. So then we go and tell staff, in October, then you bring this up, and then in that way you have plenty of time. I don't know if that's how.
Well, that's the
staff-
purpose of the governance calendar, is to give direction.
Okay.
And that way they know their timelines, and that way everything's not done in 7 days or 3 months or whatever, because like he's saying, they have, right now, they're focusing on LCAP. We have a deadline
Right.
to meet, and they're trying to get all this community engagement. So, and we have to take that into consideration, but meantime, we'll be busy creating our governance calendar, looking at our goals again, looking at these core reports, You know, they're putting their action plans in there. So we're going to have those questions already answered for us. So those are, like he said, we had a governor's workshop last year in February. So now, you know, are we going to schedule it in our calendar to be towards the end of February or before we have the next NWA, you know, testing, which is what, like the first part of March?
I think it
When they
is the
start,
beginning
you know,
of March. I
so-
think that's right.
So those are things we need to discuss.
Right,
As a
right.
government.
So.
I think we're on the same page
yeah,
more
so
or
that's what
less.
he's
Just want to
saying.
understand, I want to make sure that I don't want staff to feel pressure that all of that needs to come at once. For me, as a trustee, I think that the board governance workshop, being a new trustee, is, I mentioned that to you before, it's a priority. Anytime a new trustee comes to the board, it's a new dynamic. So I would like to make sure that I'm working as a team. And I already have my date filled out, so I'm wondering if whenever you are ready, maybe we can poll and just take that, because I'm going to be out of the country. I don't want to make sure that I'm in that board governance workshop.
Yes, understood. You've told us, shared
Yes.
that with us a couple of times. We've had that into consideration. And thank you for sharing. Any other trustee?
I would just say this sounds like it's going to be the year of the workshop.
Mhm.
And I think that's okay, because I think it's important we invest the time, not only to become better board members, but also for future boards as the new board members get elected. I also, on the workshop note, maybe we can fit this in there, but I would like a follow-up on our, organizational chart workshop that we had a while back. I don't remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, coming to an agreement as a governance team as far as what that looks like. So yes, I would like a follow-up workshop on that. And I know we approved a position, or perhaps several, but at least we approved the assistant superintendent of school leadership at our last meeting, I believe. But I would still like to, kind of tie that up or wrap that up.
Thank you. I think maybe we'll add it to being that we're going to be doing our structure and all that, we'll just add it to underneath the quarter reports, organizational work chart. We already have it created. And like you said, those two positions that they were working on, and they'll address that and just give us an update what those two positions are at. That they were
do.
working. Yeah. And it's already created, so it shouldn't take us that long. And it's also, like I mentioned in closed session, anyway, it's, I should repeat it, but anyway, it's separate information. It's in our weekly reports that that Superintendent Lyle gives us. It has an organizational chart there. And so we just have those two positions that we're working on, that the staff's working on. But we'll get that update.
And just for me, I'm a new trustee. So the org chart was approved?
What was approved, what happened behind closed session, right?
It did.
Mhm.
And Trustee Dybert, as you and I discussed, it never came up. I shared this with you already, right? As a reminder, it never came up to the board as for a vote. And to my knowledge, and in talking with Mr. Crass, the organizational structure of the district typically isn't an approved item by the trustees. It's they approve the superintendent, and the superintendent works each position through and into existence one at a time. It's not one grand approval of an organizational structure and therefore the people within it, right?
So it came to the board as an informational item then?
It came to the board via, again, I know not everybody has had the conversations you and I have had, but it came to the board in closed session during my evaluation period.
Okay.
And it has been shared more openly, but it has not been shared like with the general public, because each position has to be approved one at a time. And we didn't want to have any confusion. And this was recommended by our consultants, our executive coaches, to approve it all at once when the board still has to approve each and every item individually. Looks as though you're approving it in mass when you legally have to approve each budgetary expenditure one at a time. So it still has to come one at a time. So you have to be really careful that we're being clear with the public that we're not doing one thing all at once and then redoing it all one position at a time.
Trustees, any other question?
I don't have my-
Trustee Cyber?
Yeah, I don't want a mass of workshops.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard on everybody. I think the board just needs to know what we've done in the past and where we're going. And then if they got some questions and stuff, then we can go there. But they should be pretty much pretty simple. I mean, the staff's been working on this stuff for several years. And so they know where I think the board just needs to know what we're doing, what you're doing. But a massive workshop, I don't think is necessary.
Thank you. Clerk Mendoza?
Just a friendly reminder that anything that is discussed in closed session should remain in closed session. If there are any concerns or issues that are of any concern, I think you could address it to the board president and myself or the superintendent. Otherwise, it should remain in closed session. It's just a friendly reminder. Sometimes we forget because it kind of overlaps and we start talking about it. Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you, trustees, for your feedback. Now, we move to our next board meeting, March 14th. Any suggested future agenda items we just discussed? So now I move for adjournment for 9:32. Thank you.
Got through a lot of complicated stuff tonight.